Hello, I'm thankful that you're back to my channel, Cooking with Queen Genie, and today we're going to be doing a omelet. So this omelet will be without eggs. That's one surprise, I guess. How do you make an omelet without eggs? Well, let me show you. First, I'm going to use a cup of what you call chickpea flour. Now you can buy chickpea flour online from Walmart or Amazon. I got mine off of Amazon. So we're going to use a cup of that. And another ingredient that some people maybe not be familiar with is the black salt. Now you can buy black salt also online on Amazon. This is the brand I was using. You can buy that on Amazon. Now the black salt is going to give it a sulfur, eggy taste or smell. So that if you really like to have that eggy smell or taste, then put in the black salt. Now, you don't have to use the black salt. You can just use regular salt. But I did want to introduce you to something called black salt, so you'll know how to, if you need eggs, a taste of eggs in your dish, and you don't want to use eggs, go ahead and purchase some of that black salt. Put that black salt in there. I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of baking powder. This will give it a little, fluff it up a little. And a half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix that up a little bit. And then I'm going to put a cup of water. So it's like 1 part water and 1 part chickpea flour. So if you want to increase, make a large amount of omelets, then go ahead and just remember it's 1 part water and 1 part chickpea flour. I smell that sulfur egg already. See, it's like kind of bubbling there. Just changing with my spoon. Just get all the lumps out of this batter. So there you have it. I got the batter ready. So we're going to set that aside. Now we're going to go ahead and put in the items that we're going to put on our omelet. We're going to stir fry them before we, mix it with the batter, with the eggs. So I chop, like any omelet, you put what you like on your omelet. I like onions, so I'm going to saute some onions. I'm going to actually use a little vegetable broth to do my sauteing. So I got the plate, the frying pan, just a little, I'm putting a little heat on it. And let the onions start to saute a bit. I'm not using oil to do the sauteing. Also, I'm going to put in some garlic, because I like garlic. That's one way to put some garlic in there. it a while until it starts sizzling. So it's starting to sizzle just a little bit. As I showed you in some of my earlier videos, I use a low sodium vegetable broth to do my sauteing with. That way I can don't have to use a lot of oil, especially if you're trying to be careful in your diet not to put a lot of oil. Then go ahead and saute with a vegetable broth. And how you do it is you just put the heat on, I usually start with onions and onions and garlic. I use about 3 cloves of minced garlic on this side. So if you don't like garlic, don't put any garlic in there. And then I will pour just a tiny bit or a little bit of this vegetable broth. So it won't start sticking on the pan. And then it's still cooking. So you don't always have to use oil to fry something. I know it's not easy working without oil, but once you get used to it, because you've been used to using oil, that's how you was raised. You fry things and you put oil in it, but there are other ways of doing things and still getting good results. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a yellow squash that I have. I have a lot of squash and spinach in my refrigerator right now, and I need to get rid of all this. So I'm going to use this as part of my veggies for my omelet. Now you can use whatever you like. You can use broccoli, you can use carrots, celery, anything type of vegetable you like. Zucchini is good with it. I'm going to use mushrooms in mine and spinach, because I have a lot of spinach and mushrooms in my refrigerator. And I'm going to season this with this is a salt-free season. This is something I got at Trader Joe's, 21 Season Salute. There are other salt-free seasonings out there. You use whatever you please that you like now. This is one of my favorites. Another one I have is, this one is from Costco. It's organic, no salt seasoning. You can get that from Costco. So there's several on the market there. Just sample them and use it. This is part of cooking where you start experimenting in the kitchen. That's one thing with a lot of plant-based food. There's a lot of experimenting with seasoning. And there are a lot of seasonings out there. There's more seasoning in the world than just salt and pepper. There's a lot of seasonings out there to use. And you need to, experiment, try it. So things are softening up a little bit. The need for these is soften up. Put a little more vegetable juice, broth. Let that sit for a while. So next I'm going to put my mushrooms. so I actually give it a little watery. A little more. Salt in there. Now you probably don't need to put a lot of salt because you remember you already put salt in the batter. I'm going to put a little more of my salt-free seasoning. And I'm eyeballing everything because I know what my family likes. You need to put what your family likes, what you like. Okay, I'll let that sit for a while and get those mushrooms nice and soft. Releasing their juices. Smells good. You can also use, chop up a small potato, cube it, put it in let it boil for a while till it softens up, and put potato in your omelet also. That's a good one. I use that. I've done that before, and that tastes really well. Really good. Works well with this dish. So we'll let that sit for, let that soften up a bit. So next I'm going to put in my spinach. Spinach won't take long to melt and do its thing. deep. And salt, we'll hold off on the salt. If you need more salt, you can put it on yourself at the table. This looks ready, finished. I'll take the stove off for a while. Okay. So, I might not need all of this, but I'm going to use more than enough of this. So I'll start putting this in the batter. I'll stir it around and see what I have. Okay. Use a little more. Okay, for the rest I'm going to save. Let's see. Just put this away. Well, the batter is ready. I'm going to spray just a little bit of avocado oil in my pan. Now, if you have a pan that doesn't stick, maybe you don't need to have a little oil in there. This pan is not the best non-stick pan I've had. But you don't need a lot of oil. And I'm going to start pouring my batter. Try not to pour too much at the time. Spread out the little goodies. And you make them the size you want. So, accent that heat up a little bit. So that's going to, well, let me see how many minutes. At least a minute or so. Maybe 2 minutes. You want that to stay there. Before you... So, I think it's ready to flip over. And it took about a minute and a half. Maybe 2. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, it's about 2 minutes if you like yours a little browner. And then we cook it for like a minute on this side. So this is about ready, and it took about a minute on the other side of the, let's see, yeah, that's what I want to see. So that one, I'm going to make one more. Pan's pretty hot now, so this might go a little faster. So you can make them, this is any size you please, but just spread it out, kind of round it up. You know, spread out the vegetables so they're not all clumped together. You'll get the hang of it. And so I had just an extra left, so I didn't want to make my batter too veggie that I couldn't do anything with it. And later on, when you make your omelet, you know, if you want to put tomatoes on it or avocados, I like avocados on mine, you can put this on top of it. And it's very healthy and it just tastes good. It's going to taste good. See, this cooks a little faster now that I have the pan really hot. This one looks like it's ready. It cooked a little faster. I'll flip that over, and it's a little browner on the other side also. So depending on the size you make, you can get anywhere from, you know, 4 big ones to 6 small ones out of this batter we just did. And of course you can double your batter, you know, just mirroring that it's 1 part water and 1 part chickpea flour. And then the seasoning, that is really up to you. So on this one, but the seasoning you put in your vegetable mix. But the seasoning in the batter is always pretty much the same. If you want to use the black salt, fine. If you, so that's just a 1/2 teaspoon of black salt. Turn this off. And a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. The seasoning you put in, remember that the seasoning you put in your vegetables, that's really up to you. How you like your omelets or how you like your food seasoning. You don't have to put any more salt because we put the black salt in the batter, and you can put the pepper and any other season that that you like. So the important thing to remember that you don't always have to use eggs to get an omelet. There's other things you can do, and there's another omelet recipe that I have, but I'll leave that for later on. Still no eggs. So I want to thank you all for returning to my channel. Continue with our journey with plant-based cooking, and if you like this video, thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Thank you and have a good day. So now I have my last omelet. So I have 5 omelets here, and this will be the 6th omelet. So there you have it, an eggless omelet. Now this omelet, you can have it for breakfast, dinner, lunch, whatever your pleasure, or just as a snack. For dinner you can add a nice salad, or lunch you can add a nice salad, or some other type of vegetable with it. So we'll continue the journey next week on plant-based cooking. Just if you like the video, like I said, thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.